Power to the truth. This is Margo. This is Saturday, April 27th, 2019, 6:57 p.m. Pacific Time, United States of America. So, one of my viewers on YouTube asked what was up with the Alaska weather recently. Were there any more record-breaking temperatures and what was going on? Because Alaska was in the news a lot in March when it was abnormally warm in March and they broke all kinds of records. But April is a different story, and I've been saving these 2-meter temperature anomaly pictures from Climate Reanalyzer on as much of a daily basis as I can. So here it is from today. We can see Alaska is pretty much in the normal range and a little bit in the blue range, which means cooler than usual or normal, and just a little bit of brown here and there. That's what it's doing today. And as we look back through the days, I'm just clicking backwards in this slideshow. If we look up here, there's just a little bit of brown coming up here and there. But Alaska for the majority of April has been much cooler. Now here it is like mid-April where it was in the brown range. But in the last week or so it's been much cooler. Here it was on April 6th where you see it was a lot cooler. And it's like this big red area, it was over the Arctic, and but Alaska was just right on the edge of all of that. And so even though the Arctic was getting a lot of abnormally high temperatures for a lot of this time, Alaska, there was a little pocket where Alaska was, a lot of it was in the cool zone. Now here it was April 2nd, it was, and April 1st, it was definitely not in the cool zone. But that was, so here it was in March, and so this is what was happening in March and why they had such abnormally high temperatures, and also over Canada. But for most of March, Alaska was in the brown and red zone. So I'd also found, I've got some an article and I'm sorry I'm having to clear my throat. It's just one of those days. So this is from April the 19th from MSN.com, and it says one of Alaska's warmest springs on record is causing a dangerous thaw. So here's all the red there. And so we're hearing about this, but that as a result of the warm March, then a lot of the permafrost is thawing out, the ice is thawing, the rivers are thawing, and this is that's just how it is. This is from Utqiagvik, Alaska. Brian Thomas doesn't want any more wishy-washy conversations about climate change. And this has been happening over the years. This is not the first year that they've had warm weather earlier than they normally have. For 4 years, he's observed as station chief of the Barrow Atmospheric Baseline Observatory, America's northernmost scientific outpost, in its fastest warming state. Each morning after digging through snow to his office's front door, Thomas checks the preliminary number on the observatory's carbon dioxide monitor. On a recent Thursday, it was almost 420 parts per million, nearly twice as high as the global pre-industrial average. Now the Mauna Loa reading, which is, what everybody goes by, is around 414, but so it's different in different parts of the world. So Alaska had 420 recently. It's just one number, he said, but there's no question in his mind about what it means. Alaska is in the midst of one of the warmest springs the state has ever experienced, a transformation that has disrupted livelihoods and cost lives. The average temperature for March recorded at the NOAA Observatory in Utqiagvik, which was known as Barrow before 2016, when the city voted to go by its traditional Inupiaq name, was 18.6 degrees Fahrenheit above normal. Fairbanks, Alaska notched its first consecutive March days when the temperature never dropped below freezing. Ice roads built on frozen waterways, a vital means of transportation in the state, have become weak and unreliable. At least 5 people have died this spring after falling through ice that melted sooner than expected. Climate change is happening faster than it's ever happened before in our record, Thomas said. We're right in the middle of it. Utqiagvik, I don't know if that's how you say it. I just soon say Barrow anyway, set daily temperature records on 28 of the first 100 days of this year. In early February, residents awoke to find the land-fast ice that usually clings to the shore until summer had been swept out to sea by strong winds, a sign the ice wasn't as thick or well-grounded as it used to be, and we've seen that on NASA Worldview. It was surprising in a human way, but not surprising in a science way. The Barrow Observatory has been monitoring climate for more than 40 years. Thomas knows where the trends are headed. 200 miles to the south, Mark Ogier, a graduate student at the University of Alaska at Fairbanks, returned this month from conducting field work to find the city completely clear of snow. It was the shortest-lived snowpack in recent history. Ogier wrinkled his nose at the vegetal spring-like scent in the air. It smells weird, he said. It smells like rain. This time of year, you shouldn't be able to smell anything. The ground should still be frozen solid. But it's not. The historic warm temperatures this spring are linked to vanishing ice on the Bering and Chukchi Seas west of Alaska. We've seen that. Both areas set records this year for their lowest amount of ice in March. Warm weather threatens subsistence whaling. And on and on. And I've reported on this. So this is just a recap of what's gone on this spring up in Alaska. But they've been getting snow recently. And so it's not like it's all warmed up and that's it. So, one good, I found a Facebook group. It's called Alaska Climate Info, and they talk about what's going on up here and where it's warming and cooling and all this stuff. So I will leave links below to that article and to this group. Here, here's a post from April 25th. Over the course of a year, about 2 trillion cubic meters of precipitation, rain and melted snow, falls on Alaska. 1/4 of it, about 500 million cubic meters, falls on only 5% of the total area of Alaska, from Prince William Sound through southeast Alaska. So we're looking at this area down here. Or down here, where we're seeing 5.5%. Okay, the pink and blue. On the other side of the ledger, 55% of the state accounts for another 500 million cubic meters. So it's this area. That means areas in magenta on the map receive an average 10 times as much precipitation as the areas in brown. So it's not all proportionate. So here's a link. Summary of 2018 to 19 Bering Sea ice conditions. There's that. Juneau, Fairbanks, and Anchorage all reported measurable snow yesterday, April 23rd. Anchorage had 0.9 inches. Juneau had 0.1 inches. And Fairbanks had 1.4 inches. This ties for the latest date where all 3 major stations observed measurable snow, also on April 23, 1955. Note, all 3 cities are below normal for snow and above normal for temps this season. But they got snow later in the year, so that's, abrupt climate change has everything screwed up. And Fairbanks has a white Easter 88% of all years. The average snow depth on Easter is 12.1 inches. The last time there was less than 1 inch on the ground on Easter was in 2003. In 1991, there was 51 inches of snow on the ground on Easter. That was March 31st. The snow depth reported yesterday, or Saturday, April 20th, was 1 inch. We won't know for sure until tomorrow, but it looks like the 15-year streak of having a white Easter in Fairbanks has ended. And this post says we did it over, or I don't know if that's a typo, 61 consecutive days above normal. The Alaska statewide temperature index dropped into the below normal category yesterday, April 18th. So see, all these days that are in the red, that's where it's above normal, and in the blue is where it's below normal. So that's what's going on. This starts from October 21st, it looks like. And here's April 15th, or April 20th here. So this is a good group if people want to see what's going on in Alaska. Oh, here's an interesting post. each of the last 43 years, the average global sea surface temperature was warmer than the average of the previous 30 years. There's still variability superimposed on the strong warming trend. This map animation shows the number of months per calendar year that were warmer than the average of the previous 30 years. The animation shows the years 1990 through 2018. White areas show where each of the 12 months was cooler than the average of the previous 30 years. Dark red shows where each of the 12 months was warmer than the average of the previous 30 years. So see, a lot of red. Here's where the Tanana River at Nenana broke up and the tripod falled, like falling a tree. Tripod fell. I'm a little tired. Can you tell? The Cusco Swim River at Bethel broke up today, April 12th. This is 8 days earlier than the previous record set in 2016. It's a new era for breakup. See? And then the line goes down off the map. I shared this article some time ago. Alaska relies on ice. What happens when it all goes away? Etc., etc. So, there's that. You can also go on Twitter and just type in Alaska weather, and Alaska is baking. This was on April 20th. Don't let climate change put you out of business. And someone said the weather is bipolar. Here where the roads have to be repaired after all the bad weather. And so on and so forth. So, I will leave links below for all of that. And now let's get to, if you want to look at what Oroville is doing, I'll just show you the latest water levels. 7 o'clock or 1900 hours, 7 p.m. Pacific time, 879.93 feet. It's almost at 880. At midnight, last night it was 878.79. So let's get our calculator. 879.93 minus 878.79. It's gone up a foot, 1.14 feet since midnight last night. And yesterday, from midnight to midnight, it went up 1.49 feet. So a foot and a half. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say about Oroville right now. That's all I'm going to say. So let's look at earthquakes. We've got a whole bunch of them here. We're looking at USGS for the last 24 hours. We're showing 250 on the map. And considering it's a weekend and the earthquake makers are not at work, they're not supposed to be working today. This is a lot of earthquakes for a weekend. Of those, we have 37 that are 2.5 magnitude or higher. So let's see. This 3.3 is going to come off the map at 7:38. This is west of Petrolia. Let's go to all magnitudes for this. Right here. This came in at 7:38 last night. So it's right on this San Andreas fault line and at where the Juan de Fuca plate comes in. So that's a very important area that we're watching. So there's that. And then a 3.3 Dominican Republic. Okay. I'm going to start with this one up here in the North Atlantic Ocean, the Greenland Sea. There was a 4.2 magnitude earthquake. It's right on the red line between Iceland and Svalbard, and to the east of Greenland and to the west of Norway. So this is considered an Arctic earthquake, or in the Arctic region. This came in at 12:39 this morning. All of these times are Pacific time because that's my time zone. So we do see earthquakes on this red line where the North Atlantic plate and the European plate come together. So that's of significance. Now let's go down here to Greece. We've got two more in Greece today, or actually in the Mediterranean Sea, of 4.4 and a 4.3 near Musaka, Greece. Moving on around. Here's a 4.7 near Port Mathurin, Mauritius. On this mid-Atlantic ridge, right on the red line. This happened at 11:24 last night. Next is off the coast of Sumatra. Was a 5.0 near Bengkulu, Indonesia at 6:04 this morning. Here's a 4.8 Tezpur, India at 11:27 last night. Here's a 5.1 in the Tibetan Plateau near Laojunmiao, China at 1:27 this afternoon. Coming on around, here's a 4.9 in Rotali, Indonesia at 6:32 this morning. 4.9 General Luna, Philippines, 4:11 this morning. And they had how many here? 2 here. Another 4.9, same place at 3:08 this morning. Now, okay, that one near in a rotoli was on land, so people probably felt that. Now down here, 5.1 near Ohonua, Tonga at 5:20 this afternoon. Then here's one just north of New Zealand, 5.0 near Opatiki, New Zealand at 11:10 this morning. And they've been experiencing a lot of small earthquakes and a lot of movement down there, so I'm not surprised about that 5.0. It's fortunate that it happened in the ocean rather than on land, but 5.0 wouldn't cause a lot of damage, but if you're not used to them, you know, it's something. Here's a 4.4 near Nahashi, Japan at 8:30 this morning. Here's a 4.5 near Nami, Japan at 4:32 this morning. Here's one on land of 5.4 on land on this Hokkaido island near Shizunai, Japan at 10:24 this morning, 121 kilometers deep. Here is a 4.5 Kuril Islands, 12:10 this afternoon. Here's two off the coast of Kamchatka, Russia, a 4.2 and a 4.5 around 5 o'clock this afternoon. Coming across, here's a 4.8 near Easter Island, 3:59 this morning. We saw one there yesterday too. 4.3 West Chile Rise, 8:04 this morning. Up here in South America, 4.5 Piedecuesta or Piedecuesta, Colombia, 11:49 last night, 155 kilometers deep. So those are your international earthquakes. Now at Hawaii we've got 8 today, 2.4, Honoka'a, 1.7 at Mauna Loa, at a minus 1.7 kilometer depth, 1.8 near Volcano, 2.1 Pahala, 2.1 Leilani Estates, 1.8 Pahala, 1.9 at Mauna Loa, 1.8 Kilauea. So, activities going on there. Now, the Dominican Republic area. Let's look at these larger ones first. 3.3 near Miches, Dominican Republic, on land at 7:49 last night. Here's a 3.1 in the ocean near there. 2.7 Liquio, 2.4, and here's a 2.2. The rest are smaller. So there's 10 in that region today. Now let's look at Alaska. Let's get this one. 3.9 Attu Station at 12:36 this morning. So counting that one, we have 99 earthquakes here today. So let's see what's 2.5 magnitude or higher. So there's an uptick in the larger earthquakes today, it looks like. .8 Redoubt Volcano, 4.0 Anchorage. Here's the tsunami wave. Let's see if there was a warning. Yep, here's the warning. No tsunami danger. So that's how you find that out. 3.0 Glen Allen, 3.3 Cantwell. This 4.0 at Anchorage was 40 kilometers deep. .5 Kobuk, 3.5 Alacoquette, however you say it. So let's see what's going on here by Anchorage. Not many here today. Not many at all. Mainly that 4.0. Maybe that released some pressure. And then some small ones. But it looks like it's moving out. The movement is spreading out. As you can see, it's not all clustering in one location. It is spreading out. And over here on the line here, and spreading out up here, there's that 3.3, 3.0, and more up here. How many are at Kobuk? We've got 20 here today. So other than that 2.5, the rest are low ones and under. And then we've got movement over here, 1.5 Kotzebue, and a 1.7 Little Diomede Island. And then some up here in the north, so those are small. So I just see it spreading out. Here's one down here where we normally don't see it, 1.3 Dillingham. So there's that. Now let's come on down to the lower 48. We've got a 2.2 near Tiptonville, Tennessee, in this New Madrid hazardous area. We've got a 2.7 Pecos, Texas at 10:40 this morning. Now, we normally don't see them down here in Arizona. 3.6 near Clifton, Arizona at 10:01 this morning. And it's right next to the New Mexico border. Here's Clifton, but it was further south. So it's almost directly east of Tucson. 3.6, that's a pretty good size. That's getting on up there. Well, Utah is eerily quiet. Yellowstone is eerily quiet. Oh man, the Pacific Northwest is eerily quiet. I've not pulled up my trimmers. Hold on. I'll get it. Hold on. I'll be right back. Okay, let's see if we have any trimmers. In the last 3 hours, we've only had 4 tremors, and they've moved down here to Northern California. So they move around. In the last 12 hours, there are 2.7 tremors. 2.7 hours. Mainly by Portland, Oregon. In the last 24 hours, there were 4.3 tremors hours. So here they are, west of Tacoma and west of Portland primarily. And then a few down here in California. But no earthquakes showing up. Not right there. So here in Northern California is a 2.4 near Soames Bar at 11:54 this morning. Let's look at Nevada next. 0.8 at Urington, and Hawthorne is quiet. But look at Southern Nevada. We've got 18 here today. So they're doing something down here. Totally. See how these are all clustered up? There's something going on, probably underground there. This is where they used to do a lot of underground nuclear testing. The Nevada test site. It's all in this area. So it's not unlikely to see earthquakes down here. Now they're very small. They're microquakes. Here's like minus 0.3. Here's a 0.3, minus 0.4, and so forth. This depth is 7 kilometers. This one is 2 kilometers. Here's one. 12 kilometers. So, just depending on what level you're at on Area 51, I guess. Whatever. Let's come down this east side of California. We've got 6 here at Mammoth Lakes today. The largest one is a 1.6. Coming on down, we've got 1.9 Olancha, 1.2 Coso Junction, 0.6 Little Lake, 1.5 Kernville, 1.6 Bodfish, 2.3 Bodfish, so that's getting on up there. 1.1 near Sandy Valley, 1.9 Rosamond, 1.3 Grapevine. Now we're getting down into Southern California. Okay, in this area we only have 23 here today. So that's a big drop from what we have here yesterday, 40 or 50 or I can't remember. So 23. There's 3 at Idlewild. So let's see if any of these are 2.5 magnitude or higher. Not down here. We'll get those though. So these are small. 1s and under. So see, no blasting. you don't see any of the little diamonds. That shows that there's a blast. So my theory is correct that the blasts cause earthquakes, because on the days that we don't have the blast, we have fewer of these earthquakes in the region. Here's a 1.2 pinnacles, 2.7 pinnacles, that's getting up there, 1.0 San Juan Bautista, 1.4 Alum Rock. What have we got here? 3.4 Pacheco, happened at 2:36 this morning, and right next to it was a 0.9. That one happened at 1:34 this afternoon. That's getting up there. 1.8 Vallejo. And here's the geysers. We've got 41 today. So 3.2 Cobb, that's part of the geysers region. So that's the largest one. That came in at 5:33 this morning. 41. Most of them are under 1. Here's a 2.0 Cobb. See, here's Cobb right here. Anyway, they're calling them all, a lot of them Cobb, but it's all the geysers region. 2.0 geysers, 0.5 geysers. So I don't know where their dividing line is between geysers and Cobb. It's all the same area. Here's that 3.2. It was buried. So, what came in up here? 2.1 Coho, Alaska. So that 4.0 at Anchorage just came in at 5:58 this afternoon. So that was recent. I think we got them all. Looks like. So I'll let everyone go. Hope you have a good evening, good rest of your weekend, and I'll sign off for now and remind everyone that time is very short. I do believe we are in the end times. No one knows the day or the hour, but every day we're here is one day closer to the end. And so we need to get our spiritual houses in order right now to be ready to leave. So until next time, God bless everyone. I'll talk to you soon. Good night.